Hello there, it's me, the Geeky Libertarian. Welcome to the next episode of 15-Minute Game Show Reviews. Well, I managed to keep my promise by having a new video 1 month after I released my previous one. Well, sort of. Anyway, let's get to business. You know how we do things. I talk about the history of the show, go over gameplay, and talk about how I'd revive the show if I had the opportunity.
Crazy contest, super cool game, an awesome Grand Prix race, and an outrageous chase after thousands of dollars in cash and prizes. All on today's Funhouse. And now here's the guy who puts the fun in Funhouse, JD Roth. Hey, JD.
How's everybody doing? I'm JD Roth. Welcome to Funhouse.
Ah yeah, time to do a review of one of my favorite game shows ever. I loved this show as a kid, and I still love it now. I know there are some folks out there who think that this is a ripoff of Double Dare, but personally I like both shows equally, and Funhouse is a unique show in its own right. Anyway, Funhouse debuted in syndication on September 5th, 1988, and ran until the fall 1990, when it moved to the Fox network on Saturday mornings, where it ran until April 13th, 1991. The show also spawned a spin-off called College Madhouse, which ran in weekly syndication during the 1989-1990 season. I'll get into that later on. The host of Funhouse was JD Roth. A native of New Jersey, JD Roth has been in television since the age of 10. He was originally a host on the kids' news magazine Wonderama. He's made numerous guest appearances on TV shows including Charles in Charge, As the World Turns, The Equalizer, and Tales from the Dark Side. In 1987, 1 year before getting the gig for hosting Funhouse, he was considered for the role of Wesley Crusher in Star Trek The Next Generation, which ultimately went to Will Wheaton. After Funhouse, JD hosted other game shows for kids, including the first season of Masters of the Maze and 2 seasons of the Animal Planet game show Zoo Venture. He also hosted the short-lived adult game show Sex Wars. JD has also done voice work, including, in 1996, he voiced Johnny Quest in the Cartoon Network original The Real Adventures of Johnny Quest. In 2001, JD formed his own production company, 3 Ball Productions, and produced and hosted the Discovery Kids reality series Endurance. His biggest success came in 2004, when he co-created the NBC weight loss reality series The Biggest Loser, which is still airing to this day. In 2011, he began producing the reality series Bar Rescue for the Spike Network, which is in its 6th season. The original announcer was John Tiny Hurley, not to be confused with John O'Hurley of Seinfeld and Family Feud fame. When the show moved to Fox in 1990, Tiny was replaced by Michael Chambers, where he was called MC Mike. Chambers is best known for playing Turbo in the 1984 cult film Breakin' and the sequel Breakin' 2 Electric Boogaloo. In both movies, he was credited as Boogaloo Shrimp. He has also been featured in several music videos, including an anti-drug PSA called Stop the Madness. You can check out his website, www.boogalooshrimp.com, for more info about the guy named MC Mike. The show also had cheerleaders and twins Jackie and Sammy Forrest, who cheered on the contestants. It's a safe bet that Jackie and Sammy were probably the only reason some people watched Funhouse, but I want to keep this video PG. Now let's get to gameplay. 2 teams consisting of a boy and girl competed. One team was red and the other team was gold. The object of the game was to score points by competing in messy stunts. One stunt was usually played with just the boys, another was played with just the girls, and the third usually featured both players on the team. Usually the stunts involved getting the most items into a bin within a set period of time. Other stunts, like the slot machine seen here, required one team to be slimed less times than their opponents. The team that won the stunt earned 25 points. In case of a tie, both teams won the points. Afterward, JD would ask a question related to the previous stunt to the other teammates. Buzzing in with a correct answer was also worth 25 points, and in the Fox season, they got to throw a pie in their opponent's face. After 3 stunts were played, it was time for the Funhouse Grand Prix race. Each race had a different theme, and there were 2 different formats for the race. In one format, the team used vehicles to run the course, with one teammate pushing or pulling and the other teammate riding, and they traded roles in addition to lanes for the second lap. The other format was a relay race on foot, with each teammate running one lap. Small challenges were usually set up around the track that each team had to complete during the run, such as gathering and carrying items, running through tires, or squirting targets with a seltzer bottle. Along the way, the runners would grab tokens scattered around the track. The white tokens were worth 10 points, and the blue tokens were worth 25. In order for the tokens to count, they had to be either in the vehicle or in a bag the contestants wore. If a token fell on the floor, it was out of play and could not be picked up. In Season 2, a token bank was added, which allowed the runner on the second lap to grab a handful of tokens. The first team to cross the finish line won an extra 25 points. After the race was over, JD added up the tokens, starting with the trailing team. Whoever had the higher final score won the game and went to the Funhouse. In case of a tie, JD would ask one final toss-up question. The Funhouse was a 3-tiered structure featuring different rooms and obstacles. Throughout the Funhouse were large tags. 6 were red and was marked with a different prize, while the remaining tags were green and had a cash amount ranging from $50 to $250. When JD said go, one player went into the Funhouse and grabbed any 3 tags they could. When they came back to home base, their partner would go in and grab 3 more tags. They would continue doing so for 2 minutes. Both contestants would win all the cash and prizes that they grabbed when time ran out. One tag was the secret power prize. If a contestant grabbed that tag, then the team won a vacation. On the Fox season, a glop clock was hidden in the Funhouse. If a contestant grabbed the glop clock, they'd get a bonus 15 seconds after the initial 2 minutes were over. Remember how I said there was a college version of the show? Well, let me get into that. College Madhouse, as it was called, ran for 1 season in weekly syndication during the 1989-1990 season. The host was the then unknown Greg Kinnear. The announcer was veteran voiceover artist Bo Weaver. Instead of cheerleaders, Greg was assisted by referees Richard McGregor and Donna Wilson. The game was played mostly the same as the Funhouse, with a few differences. First off, each team had 4 contestants, and the stunts were reworked to accommodate the larger teams. The stunts were also more risque than the kids' version, often involving crude college gross-out humor and games that required lewd bodily movements among the participants. Scoring, however, remained the same, with each stunt worth 25 points. After 3 stunts, instead of the race, they played the College Madhouse Finals, a 90-second question round. The 2 teams would stand in line behind the podium, and each member of the team had a pie or a bottle of whipped cream in one hand. Buzzing in with the correct answer earned the team 25 points, and they got to mess up their opponent. After 2 players played, they moved to the end of the line, and the next 2 moved up to face each other. This continued until time ran out, and the team in the lead won the game. In case of a tie, Greg asked one final question, which was all or nothing, and a wrong answer resulted in an automatic loss. The winning team went to the the Madhouse, where the rooms were now themed towards college life. Each team member had 30 seconds to grab as many tags as they could. When the buzzer sounded, they had to stop what they were doing, and the next player in line went into the Madhouse. There was no power prize here. Instead, if the team cleaned house and found all 13 tags, they won the trip. That's how Funhouse and College Madhouse were played, and now we grade it. I freaking loved this show so much when I was 7 years old, and I still enjoy it now. In fact, I've been watching it on my phone when I work out at my gym, so I don't have to see Bill O'Reilly or Sean Hannity. Anyway, what kid didn't dream of going on this show, making a huge mess, and winning prizes for doing so? I know there are other game shows out there like that, but Funhouse was different from Double Dare in my opinion in that it relied more on stunts than on trivia. Of course, some people would say that makes Double Dare the better show, but that's not necessarily the case. As I said before, I enjoyed both shows. One of the reasons I liked it was JD Roth. JD was like the cool older brother every kid wanted. He was always rooting for the players and was just generally an all-around nice guy. To be honest, I'm having a tough time finding fault with this show. I guess the one fault I could find with it is that it's possible for one team to do so well that the other team never had a chance. But that can be said for many game shows. As for College Madhouse, well, I didn't watch it much when it first aired, but I've seen a few episodes on YouTube, and I can tell you right now that I actually enjoyed it. Greg Kinnear may have gotten his start doing this show, but he showed how professional and capable he could be. Both Funhouse and College Madhouse were excellent shows, and both get a solid A. Now the part where I talk about how I'd revive the show if given a chance. I really wouldn't change much except for the scoring. Instead of points, I'd play the main game for money. Each stunt and question would net the players $50, and the tokens in the Grand Prix race would be worth $20 for the white tokens and $50 for the blues. And both teams would get to keep their cash. The Funhouse run would be the same as before, and I would include the Glop Clock. I've actually talked to JD Roth on Twitter about trying to bring Funhouse back on the CW network. He does seem somewhat interested. He also suggested that his son Cooper, who is an actor, could be the host. I'd be okay with that. He could follow in his dad's footsteps. Of course, I would like to have some part in the show. Maybe I could use my imagination to help create stunts, though I'd bring back classics like the Slot Machine and Dumpo. That does it for another game show review. I'll be back next month with another review of a classic game show. Until then, I'm the Geeky Libertarian. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at LibertyGeek83. To quote Vash the Stampede from Trigon, this world is made of love and peace.